Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Tracy, and welcome to Tunnellyght podcast. Insert the clapping. Alright, so I added a new element to my podcasting, and if you are not viewing this on my YouTube channel, just thought I'd let you know that I am filming them and posting them, uploading them on my channel that I created last year. Which is on hold. I didn't completely quit. It's more of like just going where intuition guides me, really. So I feel called to work and focus more on my podcasting. But yeah, I'll be using that platform to upload them so you guys can really, really feel what I'm saying in my episodes. You guys can really understand me. And vice versa, this is going to benefit me as well because it'll be it's going to establish a much greater connection between the audience and I. I feel that, first of all, being in front of a camera scares me, okay? It's intimidating and I don't like it. But for that same reason, I am facing my fears. I want to get comfortable where it's uncomfortable right now. So this is me just facing the things that I avoid in life, which is to be in front of a camera. I flipped the perspective on that I'm talking to a family or friend as opposed to current reality, sitting here in my bedroom looking at the camera lens. But yeah, no, I think this is a good step forward. So granted, it's not the most appealing angle and not the prettiest background either, but yeah, I think that this is good. I am trusting that this is towards progression, which is all I teach. So feel free to, I'm going to totally leave them up there, but I actually did create a number of videos based on spirituality where it's a number of topics really. There's the 8 limbs of yoga series that I recorded, and those are very insightful. And so while a lot of them, granted, are not the best quality, because all of this editing and just the whole 9 yards is something that is very new to me, but nevertheless, I push forward anyway. Alright, so let's get into it. The reason why I decided to film the episode here in my bedroom is because this is where I am at most peace. I feel like I'm in the flow, and I love the energy flow of the room because this is where I lay my head at, where I meditate. And so I was like, yeah, this episode is totally based on just being my motherfucking self, no matter what. So, I couldn't always say that. I'll just give you guys a little background of my story, and maybe you can relate. Hopefully you do. Or maybe you don't, but whatever. So, I'll start in my childhood years, where a lot of things come from what creates us, what really makes us. So my family and I, we relocated to Chicago. Well, we're originally from LA, and so we moved to this Chicago suburb because it was just right outside the city, called Lindsay. So shout out to Lindsay real quick. First of all, arriba la raza. Lindsay crazy, never lazy. Alright, I just had a moment there. Nostalgia. But anyway, so I grew up in Lindsay, and I embrace, I look back now and I'm just so thankful that I did. It's such a great, rich culture. It's so beautiful there, and it was very, very lively. There's a lot of troublemakers in there because, there was gang activity back in the day. But nevertheless, that's where I come from, and I am so proud of being from there, or, being raised there, although, to be honest, I never really quite fit in. So while I thought it was like cool, it's like, I think back, I look back at it now and I was like, yeah, it was just nothing but beautiful Mexican people such as myself with me that I grew up with, and, all of them Spanish speaking, and you name it, like I said, it's like they had the elote man, they had the paletero, they had this little store, we called it La Tiendita, which literally translates to little store. And that's what, and it was this Asian owned business that, like they had their business right there, and it was all full of like Mexican products, so it made us feel very much at home. And whenever we need to run and get something from La Tiendita, it was right there at our convenience. So anyway, so I'm proud of being from there, but truth is, I never fit in. Like when I was a kid, it was so hard for me to be myself because I just wanted to belong. And this is everyone, like everyone just really wants to gain some sense of like feeling included, feeling like you fit somewhere. And no matter what I did, no matter what hobbies, interests, like no matter what I had to share, it was always in opposition of the popular belief. So that was really hard for me because, like, no matter everything I said, dude, no matter what type, like, okay, I liked hip hop and everybody else liked rap. I was always a Cubs fan and everybody else liked socks. And so you bet your ass I got made fun of because, yeah, back in the day, the Cubs were a really shitty team before they got the World Series. But I stayed loyal to them no matter what. And, but like, also, I liked anime and everyone else liked reality TV. So I couldn't seem to find common grounds with those near me. And being a 90s kid, like, there wasn't technology where you can communicate online now. Like, the people of this generation just actually have it so much easier. But they didn't have that when I was growing up. Shit. I just had to learn the hard way after years of being made fun of, being ridiculed, and just being teased, just straight up like being destroyed for trying to express myself. I learned the hard way. I was like, you know what? No matter what you say or do, nobody likes you. Like, just shut the fuck up and either go with the flow of everyone else or don't, just keep it to yourself. Unless you want to be embarrassed and teased and be called a lame and stuff like that, It was hard. It was very, very hard. So I can see why now people would think I'm a shy person, but I think that's because of like years and years of, believing that what I have to say has no worth, no value. Like like I said, it's like everyone was just moving the same way and I wasn't. So, and this is like on a deeper level because even when it comes to like standard or beauty standards, I always thought that everyone was beautiful just how they are. So correct me if I'm wrong, but, and I really do mean that, but see, with the black and brown communities, it's like the more Caucasian features you have, the more attractive you are. And so I would like, okay, like I thought the big, luscious, full lips are pretty. I thought that was always like a good feature to have, to be honest. Not just, well, anyway, so like I thought that was a good thing, but it's like you know, it's like, no, it's like the finer your features are, the better. So, at least in the Mexican community, if someone calls you trompudo or trompuda, that literally translates to big mouth. You don't want to be called big mouth. Like, you have a big mouth. That is not a compliment. Same thing with our noses, guys. Like, you know, again, I didn't understand how a wide or chunky nose was an unattractive feature. But again, at least with the Mexican community, like, if you have such, then they call you indio, India, which is a term used to offensively call you, like, it's offensive to look like a Native American. So, yeah, I didn't really understand. I couldn't really conceptualize what was so ugly about those features. And it was hard, you know, because then it's like, oh, well, you know, I just want to be, I want to be attractive and beautiful. So it's like, should I be ashamed of having such features? Like, I don't know, you know, I just, as children, we're also just trying to find ourselves. We're all so innocent and pure that we don't know that shit. So we just start to gather these conditionings, these beliefs that are imposed by the exterior, not coming from within. So it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. You feel like you are defected and you need to fix something. Or, you know, but it's not really fixed when you decide to go along with everything else, with the common narrative. Shit's hard. It sucks. But now, you know what? Now, boy, I look up to the Father and the skies above, and I say, Lord, thank you so much for not making me into a basic bitch. Thank you, like, really, thank you for allowing me to be unique and to embrace that as an adult. If I didn't as a kid, and I learned the hard way that it's just better to shut the fuck up, I can see now that those old stories have served their purpose, and so I can let them go now, and I can come back to my childhood self. I can come back to the inner child in me, which is so healing. I'm getting emotional because this shit's coming from the heart. So, yeah, dude. So, I can see now how it served its purpose back then, but now it's like I'm ready to just be me again. And so yeah, guys, like, just a little background. I share that because I know that I'm not the only one that experienced this growing up. It's hard to do that when you're a kid, but as I said, like, now there's like online communities where you can actually just express, and, you know, whether nobody in your immediate circle understands you, there's somebody out there that does. So that's why I encourage for you to do you no matter what. There's going to be someone who you can relate to, someone who really appreciates what you have to bring to the table. So, and even nowadays, like, I don't even have that many friends. I still have like a really small circle, but they're so genuine and unique that I really love them. So, yeah, you know, like, it's easier this way when you go back to the inner child that lives within you, because then there's like all tons of like so many other benefits that follow after. So then you lose the fear of judgment. You no longer care whether people like you or not. You're not like living for anybody else, just your motherfucking self. So, for example, I go to this indoor park with my son, and, you know, it's like this, they have tons of activities. They have the trampolines and a few rides, the go-karts and things like that, right? So there's this one activity. It's called jump, duck, duck, jumped up. I said that. But anyway, it's like that thing that I'm sure you guys seen that like it goes around in a circle and you have to either duck or jump over like the shorter one. And so when I go in there, like, do you think that I care that I'm this grown ass adult in with a group of children, and then whenever that thing hits me and I miss it and it knocks me out on my ass, like, do you think that I'm like looking around to like see if anyone saw that? Like, hell no. The answer is hell no, I don't. I'm just too wrapped up in the moment. I'm just too much living in the present that is no concern of mine. I'm just in there to have a good time. And I love to let that energy out. I love to just let it out and just be myself. When we go to there's this dodgeball arena, and man, like, I go in there and I'm just beating the shit out these little kids. I really am. I'm surprised no parent has fought me. No, but, you know, I go in there and I'm just like whooping these little kids' ass and stuff. And whenever it's my turn, you know, and I get like hit in the face by a 6-year-old, do you think that I care if I look ridiculous or not? Or I'm gonna like, you know, let my ego take over and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show you. You know, you don't make me look like a fool. Like, hell no. Like, again, it's like I'm just in there just chilling, vibing with the rest of the environment, you know, which happens to be children, and I love it that way. But yeah, it's like there's so many other benefits. And while you do this, you are cultivating your own sense of being. You actually embody more of yourself because there's nothing to fear. You get it? Like you're cultivating your own energy. So how you can harness that and express it, you can apply that where the areas that you do want to grow, such as your business or your romantic relationships, you know, like things of that nature that only grows because you have more of a, I don't want to say protection because it seems like, oh, my precious self, you know, like staying away from toxic people and so forth. Like, no, I don't mean that in that way at all. But I do mean that, yeah, like everything affects your auric field. You do become similar to what the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And those are just facts. Those are facts right there. So you choose, that's the beauty of it all, is that you actually get to choose your own circle, and you set higher standards for others, not just yourself, because that's where it most definitely begins, is to live up to them yourself. But then you get to pick and choose. You get to really see who you want to bring to yourself, and you don't have to always follow the same old behavior patterns, because then you see it's like, well, that was never really me to begin with. So now I have the power to bring awareness to that and then choose, like, do I want to keep putting up with the same people who have lied to me and, you know, whatever. Like, this is just, you know what? This is kind of off topic, but that also determines your self-worth, like just how good you see yourself as. So, you know, it's like you determine, like, well, this is the only kind of friendships that I can make. That is actually a reflection of your own self-worth, y'all. But yeah, you know, so yeah, cultivate your own energy. Now, last but not least, since I guess we are moving more towards a vibration of love here on Earth, that's what these new energies have brought. And so you bet your ass we're going to be living in more happier times, just because we are living in a vibration of love. So that means not just following your passion much easier, but also supposedly we're going to find all our soulmates around this time, you know. And I think that this is key to whoever you see you can potentially spend the rest of your life with. You have to be yourself, because you're wasting that person's time. If you're just trying to impress someone because you find them attractive or something, or you think that that's what you want, be honest with yourself and say, don't put that person on this pedestal, but say like, okay, like for example, if you are like this nature freak and you're an outdoorsy person, you're very active, and you meet someone who you may find hot, but you know, let's say that their world is totally and this isn't bad or good, you know, this isn't like good or bad, it just is. But let's say that this person is more of like into the club scene and does recreational drugs just for fun, and that's their vibe, you know, like you don't have to. That would be like having a lack of boundaries, is that you don't really want to do that, but because you want them to accept you, you are going to change who you are in order to achieve that. And so shit's not going to go right sooner or later. And so it's better to just have that foundation on yourself and know thyself and say, hey, this is the kind of person that I want, that I truly want to attract in my life, because, you know, like this, it's going to crumble eventually if you just try to be someone that you're not in order to attract someone. So, you know, let that go and let that person go, and don't waste either of you guys' time. It's better that way if you just like find someone. Again, it's like there's almost 8 billion supposedly souls walking this earth right now. So are you really going to compromise your own worth, your own sense of being, to impress someone else who doesn't even give a shit? Hey, but yeah, man, I think this episode is short and sweet. I'm gonna end it right here, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in. This is kind of an abrupt ending. I am aware of that, but whatever. Before I make it any more awkward, I'm just gonna end the episode here, and just follow me on my social media. I do have a Facebook group page and on Instagram as well, by the name of the show, Tunnellyght. It's Tunnellyght with a Y. And also, like, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And I am also creating a Patreon page, but more details on that later, because I want to make sure that I put really helpful tips, really practical advice on that platform, because you know, it seems like it's really hard to change our habits and our ways of being, but just I know firsthand off myself, like some things simply don't resonate with others, and there's some things that will work really well, and so you just have to find whatever you're called to do. So you just do you, boo boo. All right, that's all I have to say for today. Just be yourself, and it's liberating. Much love and peace, and avocado grease.